For more on this, I'm joined by the professor of law at Georgia State University, Tanya Washington. Tanya, thank you for joining us. Now, with the U.S. now starting to define mass shootings, such as the ones we saw this weekend, as domestic terrorism, could those terms be applied in a legal way in defiance or in addition to the Second Amendment, especially assault weapons? Could that become some kind of legal term that could be used in Congress to change gun laws?
Well, it certainly could provoke a change in the law that exempts certain types of guns or extends waiting periods or beefs up licensing requirements. If we make this a priority, like not experiencing these deadly mass attacks, if we make that a priority, then our interpretation of the Second Amendment will follow that priority. And we will see some of these policy changes implemented on a national level, not just on a state-by-state level.
So the president really isn't calling for any major new gun laws, but as you said, with this change in terminology, it could be used differently in against the Second Amendment in favor or in addition to the Second Amendment, with Democrats calling for Congress to cut their summer break and come back to Washington and pass an assault weapons ban and other bills. Does this look like it might realistically happen anytime soon? Are any of these laws likely to halt these mass shootings? I mean, that's the question on everyone's mind. How do you stop this from continuing?
Absolutely. And I think the Democrats are right to call Congress back to work to address this crisis. However, until the Senate decides that they are going to make this a priority and take action and implement the bills that the House is passing, nothing can be done. And then if the president is going to veto them, then it's an act of futility. But I do think there is a growing call for real change that will prevent this from happening in the future.
So Tanya, as more of a legal expert and a legal academic, people are always asking the questions, why after shootings like this? Like, we have seen a change in the language that could be applied legally, but we also see this partisan divide. You're talking about a presidential veto thing, bills going to the Senate. How much pressure on the Republicans and President Trump do you think is going to be coming up? And really, will they get on board with this in any legal way?
Fortunately, we have an election coming up, and I hope that that election will inspire those who wish to be reelected, whether it's for the office of president or one of the congressional seats, to take this seriously. Because we have people who are grieving, and they are also voting, and they are prioritizing those officials who are going to make preventing this type of violence a priority. And not only do we need to deal with the mass shootings, we need gun control because people are dying 100 a day across cities and towns in the U.S. in just daily gun violence. So we've got the mass shooting that we need to address, and we've also got our gun violence that is happening on a daily basis that we need to address.
Thank you, Tanya. It's clearly an epidemic of epic proportions, and people are still waiting to see what could change. But thanks for joining us.